Hello Scorpio and welcome to your monthly forecast. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. We're going to be taking a look at the month of October. As always, you can use this for your sun, rising moon, and Venus, and you can also watch this either before the month or as it unfolds. I always begin with channeled messages before we get into the cards because I find that it helps set the tone for the reading. Yesterday, as I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about, I was basically in the middle of a hike and a hummingbird came in my direction and stopped, basically hovered for a moment. I was like, ooh, that's kind of cool. And I kept walking, kind of nodded, and then it advanced and as I turned to the side, it started to move in different directions. It was almost like it was putting on a little bit of a show for me. And so I just enjoyed it because normally these are very elusive birds. It's difficult to photograph one. Sometimes if I'll sit out here on the patio, wait for it to come to the flowers, they get scared away, So the fact that it was seeking me out and I was thinking about what I was going to talk about to you guys, it was a nice synchronicity. And as I started to think about this, I thought, well, what it's really showing me is this ability to, on a dime, make a change and to do so with speed and with grace. And I think this is what's going to really benefit you this month. So that's what I'm highlighting here. I put the fastest card in the Minor Arcana, the Knight of Swords, and I liked the idea here also that the Knight of Swords is ready and willing to do the right thing. And when it feels right to you, that's also what's going to kind of give you the wind beneath your sails and wings. It's going to make you go a little faster. People are looking at you, and I think one of the things here to also keep in mind is elevating the situation, doing the right thing. Sometimes you have to do that, especially when other people maybe lack integrity, direction, or even initiative. You're going to be the one that is standing and kind of leading the charge here, as we see here with the Six of Wands. There are a couple of other things that I want to talk about because this is a totem that is near and dear to me, and I just didn't want to put it all in a presentation. So one thing that this also reminds you to do is take a break. You wouldn't think of this very busy bird as something that also needs a break, but every single night it goes into sort of a mini hibernation, a state that's called torpor, where it basically will perch and slow all of its metabolic rates, its heartbeat, everything down to almost nothing. And it reminds us that we have to recharge the battery. So I think it's important for you to take a little time for yourself, for your mental, physical, and general spiritual well-being, and make sure you're hitting that recharge. The hummingbird does it every night. It's early to rise, early to bed, and it's very busy all day. So you can keep up the pace as long as you're taking care of yourself. The other thing that I like to think about with this particular totem is it takes a moment to enjoy the sweet things in life. So if you are busy, if you have a lot of goals, if there's just a lot of people depending on you, make sure that just like the hummingbird, you're taking a moment to enjoy the nectar of life, whatever that might be for you. Time with your children, time with your friends, time just sort of like in a bubble bath thinking like, I got through the day, whatever. Create those sort of moments of zen and, again, drinking in the moment. We should never be fast forwarding just to that goal at the end of the light at the end of the tunnel. There has to be something each and every day that also sustains. We need a candle of light every day, not just the light at the end of the tunnel. Okay? So those are the beautiful messages coming forth from the hummingbird. Now let's look at the Celtic Cross and see what else wants to come through. I like to remain quiet here unless I see something, just so that I can take this in, just like you, and appreciate what's starting to develop and unfold. I will mention that we just got Rest and Rejuvenate here, very much in the energy of Four of Swords, which was that torpor or those that sort of like nightly ritual that the hummingbird does. So nice to see that synchronistic piece, and that was something that I kind of tagged on to what I'd already prepared beforehand. So everything in the flow, right? Didn't even realize I'm wearing also a shirt with the flower that a hummingbird would love as well. Lots of synchronicities. All right, let's begin with your catalyst first and foremost. This helps you, as this says, spark some action, create some movement, and maintain that throughout the month. So we have rest and rejuvenate. Amen to that. That's exactly what I was talking about. It's so important to not burn the candle at both ends. I was talking about the fact that we need a candle to get us through each day, but we only have so much energy per day to focus on things, and it's important to really not overdo it. There are times when you can push a little bit, but you can't do that every day. Get ample sleep, and it is about both quality and quantity. There is sort of like a bare minimum that each of us needs. So calibrate that for yourself. Make sure that you're honoring that. And if it's been too long since you've had a holiday, a break, a reprieve, this card also comes through to remind you that just like a good laugh, just like having fun, it's good for the spirit, it's good for the productivity, and you'll actually be better for that if you allow yourself to rest. All right, let's just take a look now at the Celtic Cross, the overall energy of it. We see that things are going to align. There's something that needs to be shifted. There's something that's exiting that has been a little bit of almost like a thorn in your side, but it's leaving now. It's very much, I like the trajectory here. Focus on your strength, something coming to a close, the need to say no, and things clearing out. Let's just do one card at a time now. Overall, the trajectory is good. I like to get like the bird's eye view or Cliff's Notes version first, and then we go in for the full review. All right, so we have the Seven of Wands at the center in the reverse state. It's, first of all, this is delegation, and if we look at what else is here, this is saying no. So this is pushing back, and this is repeating, I said no. So you may have to repeat things a couple of times this month for it to stick. This is especially true for those of you that historically have given 110% all of the time. Now you got to pull back that 10%, maybe even 20. 90% is enough. Keep a little bit for yourself. Keep some contingency, something for a rainy day. It's important for you not to completely extinguish things. The Seven of Wands is about working smarter. And when you work smarter, you're more productive, you're more effective, and generally speaking, you're happier. I love the the expression in this. It's very similar to the traditional Seven of Wands. We always see someone that is either a little bit annoyed, a little bit determined, or a little bit in wonderment and thinking like, when is this going to be done? What are they going to do? Why do I have to do everything? You don't. So if you've ever heard someone say that, well, if you want it done right, you have to do it yourself, or I guess I have to do everything. No, you do need to empower people around you, maybe give people better direction, or find a different person to get it done if they're not doing it. What you should be focusing on is exactly what you need to be successful. This is right on the heels of what I featured, the Six of Wands, which is success. When you do well, have you ever noticed people want you to do more? And so this is you deciding which additional things you want to take on and what you need to release in order to continue to be in that energy of success, or to go to the next one, which is Eight of Wands, and that's productivity. But you can't do everything. And that might be the hardest thing this month to take and learn, because here we have someone that they're going to finish it, but look at the burden on the Ten of Wands. So remember that sometimes the best way to get to the finish line is to share, is to focus, and is to pace yourself. The good news is you'll get to the finish line. And if we just look at the positive energy in the Ten of Wands, because it is a positive card, what we're seeing here is whatever you set your mind out to do this month, it's going quickly to resolution. So again, we have a Seven of Wands right at the center, and then you're jumping several cards here straight to the finish line. I think one thing that I would encourage you and others around you to do is to make sure that you're not missing a small detail, that again, you're not pushing yourself to a place of being fatigued. You want to be able to enjoy the success in the work which you are creating and doing, and ultimately that's going to help you in the long run. I have no doubts that you're capable this month. You're a good leader. You've got the ability to make this happen. We already see it happening here, so that's not the issue. What is the issue is a lack of balance, because we have Justice reversed, and we have a card here that shows that you might be a little fatigued. So That's what I'm focusing on at this moment. We'll come back to this as I continue to look through this spread here. This just came through in a recent daily card read. It also came through in the latest weekend collective that I did. And I like to remind folks that in addition to being a card that signals love, creativity, abundance, and opportunity, it's also simply like a satellite dish or any sort of receptive energy. And it's saying, I am ready. That can be part of your mantra. I am ready to, and then put whatever it is that you're trying to do. Complete this task. Receive more than I currently have. See all of the opportunities. Forgive myself. Whatever. It's a fill in the blanks. What are you ready to do? And are you ready to receive it, do it, and maybe even get more than that now? Because this indicates abundance and overflowing more than you think. An overabundance. So prepare for more. Open yourself up to more than you think you can do or can receive. Let the universe show you where the actual limit is, okay? This can also indicate that some of you may have just gotten into a significant relationship. You might have just started something that brings a lot of joy or happiness in your life. And we start to see some exciting movement here with both of these. Again, this shows that things could take off fast. This card, by the way, the Ten of Wands, can also represent travel, movement, maybe the need to even be in a couple of locations, and it's connected here with this Page of Pentacles as well. The Page of Pentacles can show incoming resources, money, an offer on the table. For some of you, you may have to also see something or see someone in person in order to assess that true value or, again, if it's a fit for you. This is also a chance for you to present, to pitch, to talk about an idea, to sell a product or a service, to put something out into the world. And again, other people are very likely to see the value as well. Beautiful, bright colors in this card showing, again, positive growth with respect to money, resources, ideas. And basically, generally speaking, I think that's our only resource card if we take a look here. So you've got what it takes to basically have a nice foundation for this month ahead. All right. One last thing with this is don't be afraid to ask for something because pages are communicative. So if you're lacking the support that you need, if there's too much on your plate and you need to push back, or if you're feeling burdened, or if something is just outright incorrect, then this card would also speak up and would use data and facts and figures to help support the cause. Crowning position. This is you getting organized this month. This is definitely boss energy. It's the second of two boss cards that came through. This represents you this month. So for some of you, you may be operating in a very traditional, regimented, or even corporate environment. The Hierophant can represent all of that. As I said before, people are listening to you or they're paying more attention. They see you as someone who might have the key to success or solving a problem. And if you're willing and ready to step into that, it could be auspicious. There could also be a need or desire for some of you to break free of the Hierophant, which is a gatekeeper, someone who has a very specific way for something to get done, and it could just feel a little stifling. So that's something that you can actually do well this month. It just requires standing up and saying no in this case. It also requires putting in the work and keeping the pace and keeping an eye out for how all of this will work together. Again, with the boss cards also comes like responsibility with that. So if you want to take on this idea that you have here, it can definitely come to fruition quicker than you think, but it requires work. So let me see what else we want to talk about with the Hierophant. The last thing here is you have an audience if you want one. For some of you, it may be a little bit out of your comfort zone to speak in front of people, but this could be something that might be important to at least kind of like get a little bit more acumen in at least this month so that you can advance a thought, an idea, or a cause. Okay? It also is a card that can represent college or school or something of higher learning. So if you're feeling the need or desire to do that, you can. Now let's get to the arguably the most important card here, the near future. We have the outcome here, which is success. Success hinges upon justice. When reversed, this card is powerful. It's very clear too. It's saying that you know exactly what you need to fix. that saying no to something can save you a lot of work, time, and effort down the road. It's also saying that you no longer have to kind of do the lion's share here. We see someone who is taking on way too much. We literally have the lion here, but the strength card is about getting the lion to do what it's supposed to do. So it's really important. If you need to stand up for yourself, if you need to right or wrong, if you need to say no, this is the month to basically fight and advocate for that. And you have maybe the status quo, the old way. This is the change, and this is you saying, I can do it. Strength is one of the best cards that can come through for a difficult pivot. And again, pushing back on people that don't want to budge. She wins the battle here with the lion. I mentioned, though, that this is not a card where if you're in a situation you want to continue to have to do that all the time. But whatever this next fight is, whatever it is that you need to push back, say no, get done, you can absolutely do it with flying colors. Take care of your personal strength, your body, your mind, body, and spirit. It all needs to what? Be in balance. And ultimately, again, let's focus on the scales there. This is making sure that if you're working hard, you have enough free time to spend with friends, with family, etc. It's also making sure that you have ample health and happiness in your life. The scales are not just two things. It's more like a pie chart here. There's a lot of different things that are going to equate to feeling like you're balanced and fulfilled. So this is the time to make sure that those things are not missing. And if they are, to speak up, to speak out, and to create more balance in your life. You're the agent of change. 3 power cards in a diagonal here. All boss, and as illustrated here, all divine feminine, which is pretty cool. We kind of have an atypical hierophant because we see a female there, which is great. I always love to see different interpretations in decks. Now let's look at what's going on in the environment here. We have the 5 of Wands. It's in the reverse state. Some of you are wondering, why am I doing this? And that's okay. Sometimes we sign up for something at a different station in our life. So maybe when you were a kid, you said, I want to do this when I grow up. Once you reach adulthood and go through all of the sort of like hoops and everything and finally accomplish it, there could be an anticlimactic moment where you think, this is good, but there must be more. There has to be something in addition to this that I can focus on. So this is just an acknowledgement of the fact that you're allowed to change your mind if you need to. It's also a card where you may not feel motivated. So if you're seeking new motivation, that's also something to look at. You may have outgrown an experience. Competition versus collaboration is what usually is happening in the 5 of Wands. Remember, you're leading by example, so you might rise up from that competitive group and say, hey, I think we have a common interest here. Let's try to align. Because there's a lot of times like duplicative or overlapping work where there's a lack of efficiency because everyone's trying to outdo each other. So trying to remind the group that there's an overarching purpose and that everybody wins if it gets done is going to be key. So motivation and leadership, definitely a piece of this month, and then motivation of yourself as well, and making sure that you are fulfilled and happy. All of these things connect again to the justice message, which we just talked about. Hopes, fears, and opportunities. We have the 3 of Swords. As a fear, it may be a fear of being alone, or it may be a fear of rebounding. There may also just be an irritant in your life. The 3 of Swords comes through as a much kinder and lesser version of the 10 of Swords. Sometimes we have to be just unhappy enough to get out of a situation, whether it's a relationship or a job or anything in our life where it's like, I don't like the way this feels. In the same way that something scratches or something burns and we pay attention to it, sometimes when something upsets our emotions, we do the same. So this month, the opportunity is to address this, knowing that it's going to be something that you can handle, and knowing that when you do this, something amazing is on the horizon, which we'll talk about in just a moment. This also connects to this. Again, you may just simply have had your fill, and it could just simply be how much you're working and how much energy you're investing into something, and it just doesn't feel like that's what you want to do. It upsets you, you speak up, you push back, and you accomplish something better in the result as a result of that. This there's an opportunity to avoid this altogether because it's in possibilities. I think the main thing here would be, again, to speak up, stand up, and really not let people push you into a place or a position or into a project or something like that that you don't want to do. It's your turn to basically have a little bit more time and energy. Let's now talk about the Three of Wands, one of my favorite cards, because it indicates that things are happening quickly. Very nicely connected to the hummingbird totem, because you don't have to wait. If you just shift your gaze into another direction, it's a perspective card too, we can see the ships coming in. Ostensibly, if she was looking in this direction or that direction or behind her, she might miss this. So one thing to do this month is to explore and see what's out there. This is a card that's associated with travel, just as much as this is, or the Six of Swords. This is a little bit more laborious. This is letting things come to you. I like the shift here from having to push it out there and make everything happen to now allowing things to flow through. This is also kind of saying, well, you've already done the legwork, the research, the difficult piece. Now you should start to expect a return on the investment. Three of Wands as a timing card is usually either instantaneous or within the month period that we're reading. And again, it's saying don't be afraid to meet someone halfway. I always say an active Three of Wands is better than a passive one. A lot of times we just see that person sitting up at the top of the hill or the cliff waiting. And I'm like, if you just go to the dock, you'll get there even faster, and you can wave to them and they'll see you. I do like that we also see a rebound energy here. So this is disappointment. This is thinking, I can't do it or I won't do it. And this is the universe coming through and saying, yes, you can. So if there's something where you just have a confidence issue, the outcome is, yes, you can. Maybe there's a rejection that some of you had to go through. And it could have been your first choice in love, your first choice for school, your first choice for a place that you wanted to live. That person, place, or thing wasn't the best match. There will be something better coming in on the horizon. That's a better match that you're more prepared for, and also that is more prepared for the energy that you've been creating and working on here. So it looks like you've done the work. Enjoy and reap the benefits of that difficult work that you've been putting in there. All right, let's go ahead and expand this and take a look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. We can see things like love in just a few moments, but I always start off with the health because this is the foundation upon which everything else is placed. And if it's not firmed up, it's a house of cards. So we're going to look at mind, body, and spirit. I look at energy. If there's anything going on in your body, obviously work with a professional. But let's look at your energy card here. Attune to the call. Tune in and turn on. Amen to that. I like to remind folks as often as possible that passion and productivity go hand in hand. So this card is reminding you that when you love what you're doing, when you also love yourself, like accept yourself and celebrate all the things that make you unique, others can do the same. They're attracted to that sense of basically being connected and aligned. It's really, we're talking about authenticity and alignment. And if you can do that, then the beautiful sort of flowing energy, all this green and even the power colors here, they start to flow into your life as well. Let's specifically look at some stuff that might be going on in your mind, body, or your energy and see if I can help you with that. This is the most important one. Again, it's sort of the connective thread between all the possibilities and all the past. So once you achieve balance in your life, once you stand up for yourself, once you say no, whatever it is that you're advocating for, the door is open. This can also indicate a lack of balance, so not just like work-life balance, but if you're having any issues with like inner ear or anything of that nature, obviously that's something you should look into. I think most of us, it's just schedule and time and just sort of making sure that things are adding up the way you want them to. This can also indicate emotional or even sometimes physical pain. So you also want to address that. This is a time to get as strong mind, body, spirit as possible so you can ride the wave of success that wants to come through. This usually comes through when you want to be a little bit more physical. So some of you are looking at working out, building up more muscle strength, all of that, and it will help you sustain in the long run. For those of you that might be doing some lifting, whether you're moving from one house to another or your job involves a little bit of physical labor, make sure you take special care of your back. The entire spine health is really important whenever we have the Ten of Wands. This is also emotional burden, so if you're taking on too much pressure or pain or whatever it is from someone or something in your life, what you have to do again is find the balance, take a step back, have someone else come in and share the load a little bit there. Overall, the cards are actually pretty good. This card can also be making sure not just that you're improving your sort of general emotional and mental health, but it can also be making sure that you're taking care of your heart. For each of us, that means something different. But for those of you especially that might have high blood pressure or anything with heart illness or disease, this is a time to prioritize taking care of yourself, so that this is again an avoidable space. It's in hopes, fears, and opportunities, and this is an auspicious card, so any work that you put in now is going to benefit you. And lest I forget, rest and rejuvenate, get the sleep that you need. You're going to be glad that you did. All right, pretty good month overall. Nothing here really difficult to manage. Now let's just take a look and see what's going on here in your wealth card. We have going beyond normal. So for many of you, your ability to think way outside of the box, to be inventive, to lean into your intuition, to ask a question that is probing, insightful, maybe even annoying to someone because they didn't think of it first. This is what sets you apart. And this is what you don't want to give up on. Even if, especially if you're in a place where ideas are not always welcomed. This might be a call to action to find a place where you can speak more freely, more openly, and explore this sort of inventive side as we see that light bulb coming through. So if you're the kind of person that wants to do something that hasn't been done, create something out there that is industry leading, not following, it's a great time. But we have leadership cards here where you might have to step in and, again, sort of like build something from the ground up, if that's something that you're interested in. Let's look at this on 3 different levels for those of you that might be just starting out, those that are in the middle of their career in life, and those that may be retired. So those that are just starting out, one thing that I see here for you is, first of all, like successful accomplishment of goals here. Hard work and success. It's not the 6 of Wands, but it's very much the same here. 3 of Wands means manifesting what you're trying to create. So I like that. I also see this feeling like I'm not my parents. I'm not agreeing with what the leader's saying or doing here. And so for some of you, you may be at a point where you want to do something different. It doesn't mean that you have to even quit the path, but it does mean that you might just have to create something that hasn't been created. I remember when I was looking at a couple of colleges and universities, they were open to allowing you to sort of like create your own program or major, and you could work with a department head on that. In a job, for those of you that might have already gone to school and you're just starting out in the corporate career, you might be pulling together your skills in a new job or an emerging sort of field. Right now, an example of that would be artificial intelligence. When I was just starting out, it was the web and it was new media. It's not even called new media anymore, but it was in the day. And so we would use some traditional media skills, and then a lot of it was self-taught because there wasn't even the programs like schools and certification programs out there to train people. So the people that were really sort of on the bleeding edge could just sort of write their own resume. So you might be able to do that as well. If you need more time for your family or for anything in your life, stand up for that too. Try to create it. It feels like some of you might be able to almost like write what you want and it can come true. And again, especially if you're negotiating, that's possible. Shifting to those of you that are already in your career, maybe in the middle of your career. Many of you are clearly at a point where you're like a little kid where they say, I don't want it. I don't wanna. And that's okay. If you got to that point where you don't want to do something anymore, then fine. It's time to look at what you do want. It could happen faster. Again, it doesn't even mean leaving the industry. It could just mean like finding a better job, transferring within the same company for some of you. I do think that there is an encouragement here to focus on your physical health, even though we're in wealth. because it can give you more energy to accomplish these things. So really focus on getting healthier and look in directions and in spaces you wouldn't normally look for the opportunities. It may not be right in your neighborhood or your city, state, or province, but it could be 1 or 2 away. So if you're willing to do a little bit of moving, traveling, etc., you might be able to find it. Some of you want to just travel for work too, and that's okay as well. Being self-made is definitely something that I cannot stop seeing with these 3 cards, 3 power cards in a row. So you do have what it takes, but you have to believe in yourself. That's possibly the most important thing here, is belief in self. If you can't see it, no one else will. And this can sometimes mean, for some of you, there's this feeling, I don't deserve it. I'm not ready. I can't handle it. And so that's one thing to overcome this month. And if something good comes through, realize this, you manifested it. The universe sees your worth. Go for it, okay? Now let's look at those that might be retired or unemployed, or just not focusing so much on work. So one thing that this gives you now is a chance to reclaim something that was lost. So you can focus a little bit more on yourself, your happiness, your health. You can do things that you like that you were denied before. And what I see with this is, again, travel coming through really nicely. And looking at the world at large and just getting inspired. You don't have to figure something out overnight. Go around and see what happy, successful, self-made people are doing. See what's out there. It's kind of like going shopping, not exactly knowing what you're looking for, and then finding the perfect thing because you just stumbled upon it, because your heart was open, your mind was open, and it's kind of like the hummingbird. It just comes into your periphery, okay? So explore a little bit and see what else the world has to offer. You might also find that it happens lickety-split with that 3 of Wands. Very, very good card to come through associated with work and success and all the sort of energy that you're putting in to manifest that. Okay, now let's take a look at the card that is associated here with love. We have Courage. It is reversed, so let's look at this a little bit more. Being more assertive this month could be the challenge for some of you, since this card presented reversed. It says, in silence, you find power, claim your leadership, and take action. So one thing to think about in this is, sometimes if someone is really bothering you, you don't have to argue with them. You can just say a few things and then hold some space and let them think about it. Sometimes the best way to argue is not. It's just to move on, or it's just to kind of like say what you need to say and then focus on something else. It says, you know where to go, you know what to do, you have the courage and confidence to succeed. Amen to that. This card was in reverse, so the other thing that might be coming through is you don't want someone else to push you or navigate you into something that you don't want. So this is where standing up for yourself is important. And when you do that, it may be you may feel a little uneasy at first, but it starts to feel really good to say and do what's right. And that was why I also featured the Knight of Swords earlier, and I said he does the right thing. So in relationships, speaking up is going to be the key thing. Being assertive. Yes or no. No in between sometimes, just sort of saying, yes, I want to do it, or no, that's not what we talked about. And that gives someone a very clear vision of, oh, that person has, like, you have boundaries and you also know what you want. There are times for compromise in business and other things, but sometimes when it's just a boundary or it has been laid out in a contract, stick to it, you know? You don't have to bend when there's already been an agreement to do something and the other person's just testing you, okay? All right, as I take a look at relationships, I like to break it down into 3 different things. Those that are in love, looking for love, or single and happy. Let's begin with those in a relationship. I always like to begin with the sort of relationship that is the most stable and possibly read the cards just as things that are going on in your life. So if you're in a solid, happy, loving relationship, one thing that's happening here is that there's maybe a change of power or a change of responsibility that's happening here, and making sure that both of you feel like you're equal contributors is going to be important. So one thing that you can do if your partner's taking on a little bit more than you, because we see this sort of tug of war here at the center, is just to say thank you. And then later say, what can I do for you? Or can you help me with this? And then I'll take this off your plate. So as equal a division as you can of responsibilities and energy and resources, that's going to help things out. I think that there's a lot of similarity here between the two of you. I can see a lot of love. I can see vested interest in success, but I see two bosses. And two bosses sometimes have a hard time sort of like landing on a decision that is one of compromise. So finding the middle ground in the relationship will be key. Putting in the work is also important. I think that one or both of you are stressed. One of you might be dealing with some stress or grief as well. Try to help one another focus on things that you want to do together, things that are working, and come forward with solutions. This is challenging, but I think we can try this. Are you on board? Letting the partner know that you're not ready to quit, that's going to be really key, okay? So a little bit of challenge, need some more communication. Looks like the division of responsibilities might be changing. Also, the roles and responsibilities could be changing, so just speak up. Now, there's a very clear message here for some of you that have tuned in, and you'll know who you are because it's probably already happening. So Justice reversed in Three of Swords is basically the end of something. This is saying basically goodbye, or I don't want this, or if you have gotten married, it can be filing for divorce, and this is typically a breakup card. Here's the good news. We don't have the Tower. We don't have the Devil. It doesn't have to be acrimonious. It could actually be decent. The Three of Wands means things will work out possibly faster than you think, or there's a resolution around the corner. Yeah, there's a little work that you have to put into that. But the good news is you're both strong. And as I said earlier, it may have just been two people that were too stubborn to kind of make it work. And I don't see enough communication. There are no swords here except the Three of Swords. And I want to see like an ace or a court card to help bring more communication. So this is a time to elevate. You remember I talked about that at the beginning. It makes sense here for that. And this card is loosely connected to the Four of Swords. So things can just sort of like peacefully resolve. And I like that quite a bit. And it's going to be good for you, for your peace of mind. So I'm optimistic about this for those of you that are heading in that direction. Be assertive, say what you need to say. Again, even here, we're getting like similar energies. So we have like, what is this, a cougar? Yeah, cougar and a lion. So two cats, and then we have two bosses here with the Hierophant and the Strength. Even another, this is the mediator, and I do feel like some of you might need someone to help make the communication happen a little more swiftly. All right, switching over to those that are looking for love. Can you find it? Yeah. The main focus first and foremost, though, is on personal health. You may also be calling in a Leo if you're not already a Leo. There could be a Libra coming in. Here's the thing that I would like to say, though. It feels like you need to make sure that you're 100% untethered. The Justice card in reverse could be an attachment to someone else. It could be a lack of balance in your life. And you want to open up your energy a bit so that you can enjoy this. And yes, you can manifest it if you're looking for it. Almost in real time, we start to see something happen quickly. If you see the value, if you hold your heart open, and if you just sort of like put yourself out there, then yes, you can do it. I'm reading these more as aspects of you, though. Hierophant is getting out of the old patterns. Justice is creating better balance and standing up for yourself. Strength is the assertive energy that we saw here, and also the physical health. So yes, they can be attached to people or signs, but I really feel it's more about you, and the person is on the horizon. Something better than you anticipated, because you are worthy and you are ready. And this is true for everybody, whether you're in love or looking for love. For those that are single and happy, good for you. This is a time for healing and being happier in general and healthier. So whatever you try to achieve, you will achieve. You're going to find more balance, probably increase your resources. Personal healing is possible. But it looks like when you get out into the world, you might be surprised at some of the opportunities knocking. So this is a time to try new things. Take a class, take a trip, say yes to something that you wouldn't normally say yes to, because this is where you're going to meet new colleagues, get inspired, figure out what the next chapter holds for you. Speaking of which, let's take a look at your destiny card. This is kind of a litmus test to see what's going on with your trajectory. We have peace and harmony, Archangel Raguel. Thank you for surrounding my life in harmonious light. What a beautiful card. I love the sort of silvery golden energy coming through here. This is a time where, again, are you noticing a little bit of a trend here? This was the catalyst, and this is the the Destiny card. So rest, rejuvenate, peace, and harmony. When you are at peace, you find peace. So please take a break and enjoy a break if you're in it, and just sort of see what else the world has to offer. This is a time where hopefully for you, things can start to get a little bit easier. All right, we're gonna move to sun, rising, and moon. Interestingly enough, I shuffled everything, laid out the cards, and saw that it wasn't recording. So we're gonna do something special where I pull a second group and we'll merge the messages. So I already got sun, rising, and moon messages, but I'm gonna go ahead, shuffle, and give you another one just so you can see that they're all connected. So you get a little bonus this month. All right, so each is gonna have two here. So the one that I pulled that didn't record was the Eight of Cups, making and breaking cycles. And we see you making and breaking cycles around your power, your authority, and your ability to basically reclaim power or speak up for yourself. This is the assertive energy coming through. So the one that I pulled on camera is all about that. It's also saying, don't waste your time on and energy on people that are not interested. Pick and choose your battles wisely. If it's been a while since you've taken a trip or a break, take a break. It will help you figure out what you want to do next. This is a card of second chances, taking a sabbatical, taking a leave, taking a 5-minute break from something to get your clarity. But mostly we're looking at a cyclical shift here between feeling like you may not have the authority or power or energy to do it, and then realizing, actually I do, I just needed to get some perspective. This is also saying you are worth it. So a really powerful combo coming through for sun. Moving on to rising, the card that I pulled off camera was the Ace of Pentacles, really good, it's reversed. The one that I pulled on camera was the Six of Swords. So what we're seeing here is a need for you to, in order to get what you're looking for, one, you have to speak up and ask. But two, you may have to go way outside of your comfort zone or even out of your geographical zone. This is also saying you're the one kind of rowing the boat or steering the ship. So if you really want to see this happen, this is about setting some milestones in place this month and making sure that each day there's some effort in rowing the boat a little bit further forward. Making a phone call, creating an email, putting together a pitch or a proposal, and doing the legwork. Can you make it happen? Yes. You're moving closer to this though. It's less of a passive card. This made it more active. So again, I'm just honoring that Spirit wanted me to read two for each. I'm kind of liking it. I hope you are too. All right, the moon card, the one that I pulled off camera was the Three of Cups. The one that I pulled on camera was the Ten of Cups. They were very compatible energies. So this is saying that it's worth putting yourself out there. It's reversed. So some of you may not always feel comfortable in social engagements. May be weird if someone's asking you out or inviting you to a party. It is worth it, folks. You're going to meet and network and connect with people that possibly could change your trajectory. This is also a time for those of you that want to rebound to have a successful experience there. For those of you that want to have more fun with friends and with family, this is acknowledging that. And this is also just showing that one of your powerful attributes this month is your ability to fit into different groups of people. And it's almost like you're a chameleon, right? So I really encourage you to lean into social engagements and opportunities. That was kind of fun. That was me just working with a little bit of a Mercury shadow here because I'm recording this right after the retrograde. But you know, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. So there you go. You got a little bit extra in that, and I think it's fun for you. All right, we're going to move on to your final card. This is kind of special. I try to always open this up to you asking a question that, you know, I do my best to read this as a general reading, but there's always one more thing. So if there's something that you're focusing on, and we looked at a lot today, folks, but if there's something that I didn't cover, meditate on that now, and let's see what the cards have to say to you. It's a really good card. So we have Nine of Pentacles. This is saying not only can you do it, but you can do it on your own if you want to. This is a fiercely independent card. This is saying also to enjoy the fruits of your labor. So we see someone here kind of at harvest time reaping the rewards. One thing that this does sort of invite is the opportunity to reach out for a little bit more. This is almost everything, but if you accept help, ask for help, look and see what else is out there, there could be a perfect connection or conduit that could take it to the next level. So maybe that's, again, a little out of your comfort zone, but that could help. As a yes or no, this is an affirmative. This is yes. It looks really good when we're just kind of generally looking at resources, independence, and your path in general. Missing from this is the garden snail, which is basically also confirming that you want to take it slowly, take a moment to drink everything in, and enjoy the journey, folks. I hope you enjoyed today's reading. To me, it was really enjoyable to be your facilitator. So if you liked it, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up. It tells me in real time that this is something that you care about. It also tells YouTube that other people might like it, and then they can discover it that way. So thank you in advance. If you're brand new, hit the subscribe. You'll never miss a future video if you do that. You can also specify how many videos you'd like to see by clicking the bell and all, and that way you'll be told whenever I do an upload. So thank you in advance. Another way to keep in the loop is by following me on social media. My handle is @NicholasAshbaugh with no additional letters or characters, and that's true for all major platforms. You can always go to my website if you need additional guidance there. Remember, I do not offer private readings. There's a lot of people out there that pretend to be me, especially on TikTok. So if someone direct messages you, asks you for money, or offers you a product or service, block, report, ignore. It's not me. If you do want to give back, you can do it through an official channel here on YouTube. And you can do it with a membership, a super sticker, a super chat. And when you're looking at this upload, it can also be that little thanks. It's in the picture of a heart. All of those things help out more than you know. Thank you, everybody, for taking some time here. I hope to see you every Monday, Thursday, and Friday for my new uploads, daily for my one-card readings, and Sunday for my live streams. And until I see you the next time, wishing you love, happiness, abundance, and all of that and then some, right? Take care of yourselves. See you soon. And again, thank you.